let's say that you are having one of these difficult conversations. How do you handle a person that doesn't want to talk, that's being communicative, kind of walks away, and is a hurry to get out of the conversation, doesn't think talking is a good use of time?
So again, this is where I always dive into what's going on. Like, is this a child? Is it a partner? Is it an employee? Is it a boss? How important is it to have this conversation? What is it that you need to be having and talking about? If the person really can't find a reason to have that conversation, then you need to decide, is it worth having the conversation? If it is a conversation you need to have, you might ask the person, say, I want to have a conversation with you about X. And I can tell that's not something that you really want to do. It's very important for me. I'm wondering how we could set it up so we both could be there. And if the person says we can't, you can't. Silence is the biggest boundary in that you can't change someone's silence. You can't make them talk. But if it continues and that person is really not able to hear you and you try different modalities, sometimes writing, a lot of times writing, especially with kids, works better. Then you may have to have someone else be a part of the conversation. You're going to have to try a lot of different modalities to get to what's going to work.
And on the flip side, let's say you start one of these difficult conversations and the person becomes very argumentative and it becomes incredibly heated. Do you have any tips and tricks for how to handle yourself in a conversation like that?
Yeah. So there are a couple things. And again, it depends on what is the relationship you have with that other person. But a lot of times, if the person is just argumentative, okay, if it's argumentative and it makes sense and logic and you want to hear what it is, you can just listen. If their argumentativeness is making you lose your boundaries and step back, you can do a timeout. You know what? I do want to hear what you have to say, but my feelings are getting in the way of me really getting to what you're trying to say. So can we come back in half an hour? Or it could be, you know what? I am hearing a lot of feelings. I'm wondering if we can separate the logic and the feelings, but talk about both. Because sometimes people are using the rationale in a feeling voice, and the rationale is not as important, but what they're trying to convey is their feelings. So sometimes it's separating the two of those. Sometimes it is allowing space in between and not trying to do too much in one meeting. So those are some things. A lot of times what will happen is you'll see what happens and you'll collect information. Okay, we tried this, it didn't work. We tried that, it didn't work. Oh, wow. Let me find out and see, are there other ways I could try? And when you try those, they do work.